It's my feel-good breakfast show.
This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Thank you very much for tuning in at the start of a brand new day. Now, let's talk about social media. It is everywhere, from Facebook to Instagram, Twitter to TikTok and beyond. We've reached an age where communication through digital platforms is the norm. And getting likes on your photos, your posts, or your comments online creates an unrealistic measure of self-worth. But could this constant search for validation trigger negative thoughts about body image? Now, we're joined this morning by a powerhouse group of women, Oyama Buota, Davina May Gordon and Zuleika Patel, to discuss the impact of social media on body image and self-confidence in this week's Ingram's Skin session. A very good morning to all of you ladies. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us. How are you?
Hey, we good.
It's so exciting having you guys here on the show because you are constantly in the public eye. But I'm pretty sure that you've experienced the bad, but also the good sides of social media. Has social media caused any insecurities and affected your self-confidence at all?
I think the immediate answer to that is always a yes, because, I mean, as humans, we're definitely prone to always trying to look at what the other person is doing. But personally, I think the fact that I've done the self-work and I know who I am and I know that my journey is my own, even during my self-love journey, or whether it's because of my career or where I'm at just in general, I definitely feel like the insecurities that come with other people are definitely things that I've worked on and I do not relate to anymore. Rather, you focus on the positives and you look at what positives can you take from people and how can people inspire you instead of intimidate you. Yeah.
Zuleika, is it a yes for you as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's a yes for me. And my main thing with it is with social media in particular, especially with how women of color and Black women are expected to be seen on social media. There's a particular image in which they want us and expect us to portray. Like, for example, on social media, to get love as a Black woman, your skin always has to be oiled and shiny. You have to have a particular body. You have to have perky breasts, small waist, and wider hips. And if you're not that, then you're not loved on social media. And people have quite a lot to say about you. But I think for me, what's really like assisted in carrying me out through my social media is that I have had to practice self-love and understand that it's something that I have to work on constantly every single day.
Davina, let's head over to you.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's still something that I'm dealing with today. You know, I've always had insecurities because I'm an entertainer as well. And those insecurities stem from whether it's the way I look or the way I play, the violin, and how people perceive that type of playing and why I've chosen the type of genre that I'm in right now. That basically stems from my experience in the classical world, a world where you have to follow rules. Your peers are constantly judging your playing and how you are in that space. So because of that, my mission was to always just spread joy in my music and change people's perception about classical instruments. So I've had to change my own mindset and focus on that rather than what my peers might think of me.
Yeah. And that's some very, very valid points that you are bringing about. And perhaps we can go back to you, Oyama, and talk about how you go about preventing social media from affecting your self-esteem, what you think of yourself, how you see yourself. Well, what is that constant practice that you are undergoing every day to remind yourself of who you are and what you mean to yourself?
I think the reminding yourself of who you are is definitely like imperative, because when you go on social media, for example, the first thing you see is how anyone else is living their life, what they think about themselves. But when you go offline, it's you and your thoughts. So what do you think about yourself when you're not online? I think working on yourself, but on an offline basis, is the key here, because once you get online, it's a case of I know myself, I know who I am, I know my worth. What I'm seeing and consuming does not affect me in that sense. So it's working mentally with yourself and doing the inner work in terms of self-love and self-worth. But more so, I always say that there is a mute option. If your friends, your family is triggering you on social media, mute them and keep it moving, or block or unfollow. You don't have to just consume things for the sake that they're there.
Blocka. There's that meme. Blocka. Do you know that?
The power of that button. The power of that button.
Truly. And for you, Zuleika?
I think it's exactly the same as what Oyama said. She worded it quite perfectly. The power in the block button. If it triggers you and it doesn't speak to you, then you have the power to shut it down, just block. And also for me, really, I follow what speaks to me. The power of filtering what will show up on your feed, what will show up and pop up on your Instagram is really following the right people that speak to me, people that are in line with what I think and how I see things. So the power of the block button should not be underestimated. And also following people that really speak to who you actually are.
Absolutely. I want to stick with you for the next question because I want you to talk to our young people out there. I mean, given the importance that is placed on social media these days, what would be your message to the youth of today about being brave in your own skin, especially when it comes to social media?
My message would be that social media is a very powerful tool that connects all of us. And if you know how to use that tool and you understand the power in it, then you can literally change the world.
I think back to how insecure I was as a teenager, you know, when you feel like everything on your face is, and your body is pronounced and can be seen from outer space, you know, that was really tough. Just being at school amongst people your own age. I mean, I can't imagine what that must be like for the generation that has social media thrown at them. If you don't have an alternative force of influence outside of that, it can be very damaging and toxic. That support group will help you focus on what's important and what's real.
You have all mentioned such important things when it comes to social media and how we should be able to carry ourselves on such platforms, which exposes us to a lot of information and a lot of content that is just thrown at you in your face. And you've mentioned, the importance of mental health more than anything. And one way of mental health, of taking care of your mental, is by having self-care kind of day, you know what I mean? Taking care of yourself, skincare routines, whatever the situation may be. So for you, what is your body positive skincare routine?
Okay, personally, for me, it has to be this baby right here. It's the pure tissue oil. I know it's new because I've never seen it before, and I've been using it for the past month, and it's been absolutely amazing. So what I do is I absolutely love bath times. I scrub my body and then just a couple of drops, one drop goes a long way. A couple of drops and then gather it all over my body, get into the warm water. After I come out, my skin feels absolutely amazing. There's just something about this. It's literally the holy grail to moisturizing your skin.
I love it.
Wonderful. Zuleika, what about you?
For me, really, it has to be the old school Ingram's green tub because I've had issues with eczema since the beginning of time. And so really good, deep moisture onto my skin. Really, I love it when my skin is moisturized. And definitely the new tissue oil. We love glowy skin.
Davina, finally you.
I don't know about you guys, but I've had my fair share of pajama days in lockdown, and I can never really get it started. I can never get the day started before I've washed my face and I've moisturized, and I found that the Ingram's tissue oil lotion has really done wonders for my skin, especially because I moved from Cape Town to Joburg 5 years ago, and those Joburg winters are just brutal on your skin. It's super, super brutal. You have no idea. Your skin feels like sandpaper. It's just the worst. So this has really actually done wonders for my skin. So that's my go-to at the moment.
You must come back home when not Davina. The weather here is beautiful.
Well, I'd like the sun to be up at 7 a.m. Thank you very much.
Ladies, listen, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for giving us your opinions and your much valued opinions in the world of social media and how it impacts all of us every single day. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
So often we rely on social media to define ourselves, but in the words of the phenomenal Maya Angelou, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. Now, if you want to be part of the conversation, make sure to set a reminder for 5 p.m. on SABC3 to watch Afternoon Express this Thursday for another Ingram Skin session where Palisa Tembe will be delving into how social media affects our self-confidence in greater depth with our powerhouse group of women.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.